I find myself repeating, this mind is a crucible. That's Forge It from Iron. As always, this is your favorite aspiring revolutionary here, a wandering author, reminding you that we are all the authors of our own lives, of course. As always, my message remains the same. Spend less, live more, earn your freedom with frugality. Today we are in Morgan State Forest in Indiana. We're just a little north of, I think this is like the northern part of Hoosier National Forest. Anyways, been having a lot on my mind lately. So my usual production schedule will bring me up to the Great Recession. We've discussed the Great Depression and how it developed the Dust Bowl, arid conditions in the breadbasket of the U.S., and then stock market crash kind of led to a generation-long downturn in economic prospects, which did not really recorrect until full employment came with the mobilization for World War II. But the Great Recession, on the other hand, is an all different beast. If you've ever seen the movie, The Big Short, I forget what the guy's name is. They do a very good job of it, though. The main black swan is what people like to call them. A black swan event is really like the red herring. There were underlying issues in the economy leading up to the actual meltdown in 2008, but the red herring, so to speak, were the collateralized loan obligations, which were these financial instruments that investment banks had been using to create speculative bets based off of the asset prices or the cash flow assessed on U.S. mortgage markets. So in other words, basically like everybody who owns a mortgage that gives off some cash flow, right? There's money in seeing in like who in controlling those streams of cash. People were collateralizing those, breaking them up into little parts, and then selling them to individual investors. However, they were kind of misrepresenting the actual value of the underlying assets that were being sold, and it led to, downstream risks, what they like to call it. Anyways, the International Monetary Fund ranks it as the most severe economic downturn since the Great Depression. So that's like 80 years we're talking about there. Now, I think what a few of the other standout things about the Great Recession for me is I think the Roman historian Sallust puts it best. No mortal man has ever served at the same time his passions and his best interest. Sallust. No. No. So like the big difference to me is how the actual depression or the recession played out on like a global scale. So with the Great Depression, it affected pretty much everywhere the same. Like everywhere, or like rich and poor countries all kind of suffered. Wow, man. Look at these streams right here. That is really quite something. But with the Great Recession, it wasn't so much that the wealthy countries and poor countries suffered equally. In fact, the developed economies in Europe, North America, and like the more developed parts of South America, like Brazil, those were the ones that suffered the most during this downturn. So in comparison, instead of it being like widely suffered, other areas in the intervening decades have been able to catch up. Like India and China have seen tremendous growth. An interesting stat is the actual implications that the Great Recession had for the U.S. is the average home owner or median net worth, just like the average American, it fell by 35%. But as we will come to find out, all of this was made up by unprecedented gains at the top end of our income spectrum. So in other words, there is a group of people who have been profiting quite handsomely off of everyone else's immiserement. So we've got a lot to talk about as far as the Great Recession goes. I think I've got it summed up in one statement right here. It was not felt uniformly. Now there's definitely a lot more that we can go into. I am trying to travel all the way up to Michigan right now and kind of capture, wow, man, some good footage. So that's really all I have for the actual Great Recession today. But we will be picking that up in 2 more days. So just some personal notes. God, dude, here in Indiana, whenever I woke up so first off, I drove through Tennessee, right? And I went through Short Springs. I've got a video out on it. That area was almost like a rainforest, right? Like there was just water everywhere. Now there's definitely water here in Indiana, but 2 different things. There's a little chill in the air in the early morning here in Indiana, and everything's just so much rounder, softer. The slopes, like the edges of these rocks, the whole natural environment here in Indiana just is like a little less rough around the edges, so to speak. It's kind of interesting, the kind of things that you notice. I'll have some good footage or some stuff on my Instagram. But another thing is like bro, it's like, I've been walking through this forest this whole time. It's the middle of the day. This whole video I've been in this woods. You see how there's nothing directly in front of me? But I'm in the shade, right? And it's like that everywhere. Like in Alabama and other places, normally when you're walking through the woods, you're constantly dealing with stuff that's like eye level branches and crap. But it's not like that here in Indiana, at least not in Hoosier National Forest from what I've seen. So what's cool is all of this stuff is totally freely accessible. So anybody can come here and enjoy these beautiful spots if they want. I'm going to continue trying to capture some more footage. I've come up with the name for my next song, Surpassed by Creation. You Were the Mold. And I've got some more work that I need to actual work that I need to be doing. I've got a dispensary that wants me to write an article for them. So I've got to actually start heading back out of the where I am at right now, Morgan State Natural State Area, I want to say is the name of it again. Anyways, what are you guys doing in order to inspire, uplift, and empower your community today? Because this world isn't changing unless we all do our part, and you can count on me to do mine daily. As always, love you guys. Till next time.